And today what Alex and I are going to be doing is kind of a Royal Caribbean versus Carnival video.
So obviously I'm all for Carnival.
And I'm obviously doing Royal Caribbean. Then I went on, by the end of March, I went on the Enchantment of the Seas to the Bahamas. We went to Nassau, we went to Coco Key, and it was phenomenal and it was so beautiful.
I've been on 3 Carnival cruises, most recently the Sunshine, and you can see my video on that, so we'll probably put it somewhere.
We're going to be doing 6 to 8 categories for a ship itself / layout, the food that's on the ship, the staterooms on the ship, the things for teens, so the things for me and for Alex and for all the other teens, the places that we went where the ship actually took us, and then activities on the ship. So Royal Caribbean Enchantment of the Seas is what I went on, like I said before. It's a very, very easy layout. I think, if I'm right, it's 11 decks. There were people everywhere and they helped as best as they could, and they were all, they were really helpful. On every elevator, way, I guess, they had digital Samsung TVs that were here and here, so there were 2 of them, but they were touchscreen, and it showed you a stateroom finder, bathroom finder. It showed you the cruise compass. I'll tell you about the cruise compass later if you haven't been on a Royal Caribbean cruise. Show the cruise compass, things that were going on, things that we were places that we were going, things we were gonna do, stuff like that. Also, you say you're bored or you need to find something, just look on it and you can find something that's going on, and there's always something for everybody that's going on. But the cruise director, he was super funny. He always was around the ship. He was never cooped up in an office or anything. He was always doing stuff with you. He always said make sure to say hi if you ever see him, and he always said hi to you, so that was really cool, have that little bit of interaction. There was always live music in either in the Centrium or a bar, boleros, and they were really good singers, and they sang all types of music. The interior of the ship is more of a jazzy vibe, but also kind of has a modern jazz feel to it, so it's kind of good for older people, adults and stuff, but it's also good for kids because it has that modernness that we all thrive on. They also have the Orpheum Theater. It's a 2-story theater that they have on the ship. I don't remember what decks it is, but they have something in there every night. The first night there was a comedy show for the family, and it was super funny. I don't remember the guy's name, and I wish I knew what it was, but he was super duper funny. But if you did miss any shows or anything, they do broadcast them the next day on your stateroom TV, so then you can make sure you catch up on that. They had different shows. They had a juggler one night. They had a comedy show for darker humor for adults only, so 18 and up. They had a Men in Black. They were doing musical Men in Black, and that was a sight, but that was still really cool. And they always had something to do for everybody in the family. If it was just the adults, it was just the kids, or if it was everybody put together, they always had something for you to do. They also had crew members from around the world, so if you didn't speak English, if you didn't speak something, there was always somebody there that knew what you were trying to say and always could point you in the right direction.
Carnival ships and layouts and things like that. Carnival has one layout very consistent through most of its fleet. One deck, normally deck 5 for most of it, is where all your restaurants and things are, karaoke, whatever. They have the atrium right in the middle, lobby, centrum, whatever. And then the top deck, which for most is deck 9, the newer ships Green class, it's deck 10, it varies, but that's where the pool is. There's really only one ship, as far as I know, that the layout is quite different, and that's the Carnival Splendor. And the reason for that being, it was built for Costa Cruises, which is a company owned by Carnival, and towards the end of its construction, they decided that Carnival needed a new ship more than Costa did, so it went to Carnival. But yeah, there's maps everywhere. Anyone will help you out if you have trouble figuring it. They keep the ship exquisitely clean. So, my grandparents have been on 2 or 3 Royal Caribbean cruises before this cruise was their first Carnival cruise, and they were so impressed with how clean they kept the ship as compared to Royal. They play music everywhere, which that seems to be a complaint on the top deck. It's very loud music, and it's questionable music. Service was amazing throughout the cruise. They've got great shows every night. Comedy shows are amazing. You have to go to them. Newer ships have Carnival Waterworks, which is a big water park. The inside decor has always been kind of questionable. Joe Farkas has been their lead designer for a long time, and he never came out of the 90s. Basically, his designs are very questionable, and recently, mainly with the Breeze, and then they redid the Sunshine, and they're currently building the Vista. I think they told him, dial it back, become a little more modern, and he did, and they've been really nice. My next cruise is on the Breeze, so you'll see that video, about a year from now. Let's see, Playlist Productions are something new. We've never seen them, but there's mixed reviews, but overall, I've heard they're pretty good. Cruise directors are always some of the best parts. On a cruise, we had Wee Jimmy on our most recent cruise. Every night you get fun times in your cabin, so like the next, it's the planner for everything going on the next day. It says if you're in port the next day, what time you dock, what time you can get off, what time you have to be back on by, what time you sail away by, things like that. Plus, obviously, shows, all day long activities on the ship. Back to comedy shows, they have all family show, which is hilarious. It's not like Knock Knock Who's There stuff. It's hilarious stuff, but it's clean. 18 and up, later in the night, you can go to the adult show. Crew members are amazing on Carnival. We've only run into one or two like really grumpy crew members. It's very rare. And you're gonna get that anywhere. You go to Disney, you're gonna run into someone who just does not want to be there. That's about it for this category.
So with food, there was a ton of places to eat. Just a couple that I thought were really good was the dining room that I was in. Each person gets a dining room, or each party is a dining room. And I was in like My Fair Lady, and that was the bottom floor of it. But there are 2 floors of it. There's Bolero's, which is a bar. There's a huge buffet restaurant, and I think they're open all the time. But it's called Windjammer, and it's a huge room, and there's just a ton of food, and the food is so good. There's also a restaurant called Chops, and that's more of a specialty restaurant that when you do have to pay extra for, and there's like steak and really expensive stuff. But my mom and my dad went there, and they said it was amazing, and it's definitely worth it. There's also a place called the Park Cafe. It's located inside the solarium, and the solarium is like an adult-only area. But at night, when the Windjammer Cafe is not open, they open it up to everybody, so you can go get food. I got pizza, there was like flatbread pizza, I got salad, sandwiches, stuff like that, just little things to keep you full. I don't know if you consider this a restaurant, but it's called Cafe Latitudes, but it's basically like lattes and coffee and stuff like that. For all of you that are wondering, there is a Starbucks on board, but they don't offer like frappuccinos or any fancy things. It's basically tea, coffee, and I think they have cappuccinos, but I'm not really sure. And they have a lot of international cuisine in the Jade. But that's what they have for restaurants. They have no chain restaurants. All of them are by Royal. They have a 24-hour ice cream, 24-hour pizza, room service. They had Coca-Cola Freestyle machines. For those of you who don't know what they are those big red Coke machines that are like at Burger King. I think they're at Firehouse Subs, Wendy's. I know they're Wendy's. But they have those everywhere, and they have a trillion flavors on them. This is the cup that you actually get when you buy the soda package. It has Royal Caribbean logos on it, and has a slider top here. And it is so durable. I dropped this on the main floor of the Stateroom and it didn't break. There's no splits in it, and it keeps it really cold, but it also doesn't get on your hands. It was definitely worth that, and you could refill it anytime you wanted, with anything that you wanted, which made it really nice, and they're really easy to clean. We had a 3-course meal every day for anyone who wanted it, and in the My Fair Lady dining room, you have a main waiter and a secondary waiter, I guess you could call it. I had Ariel as our main, and I had Denise as the second one, and they are amazing. If you ever want chocolate milk, if they run out, Denise will make it for you from scratch with Belgian chocolate, and it is the most amazing thing you will ever drink, ever. They had desserts, and if you can't decide on, say, like strawberry cake or chocolate cake, they'll bring you both. They don't care. You can try them both. And you got as much food as you wanted because you paid a lot of money to be on that cruise, so you got as much food as you wanted. They also, one more thing, had a Ben & Jerry's. The Ben & Jerry's I didn't really go to because they were closed because the second day at sea, I think they ran out of ice cream or it melted or something, and you know that you can't get more when you're in the middle of the ocean. So they were out of order for the rest of the cruise except for the first day, and I didn't really get to go to it, and I don't know if it's extra. I think it is. I think it's extra, but I'm not sure. So that's basically kind of all the food that they have on it. All the food is super duper good, and there's so much of it, and you'll never go hungry.
Food is the that a lot of people go on cruises in itself, especially Carnival. I don't know about the other cruise lines. I know like Norwegian, there's some chain restaurants as well as Royal. Carnival, it's 100% free. Other than there's 1 or 2, maybe 3 specialty restaurants, depending on which ship you're on, that you have to pay for dinner, but those restaurants are normally free for breakfast and lunch. So all Carnival ships have 2 main dining rooms. You're assigned to one depending on where your stateroom is located on the ship. They're great. They sing to you. You can see those clips in my video. Food's good, great. Warm chocolate melting cake. If you don't have at least one of those every day you're on the ship, you're nobody. Let's see, they also all have a dining room and then a couple other restaurants. Certain ships, and they're working on implementing this on their entire fleet, have what's called Fun Ship 2.0, which basically adds the Red Frog Rum Bar by the pool, which, I mean, it's not just for alcohol, you can get anything there. And the Blue Iguana Cantina is directly on the other side. Same idea, just Mexican over there, Caribbean over there. And then there's Guy's Burger Joint, which is amazing. I recommend the Ringer any day of the week. And then Blue Iguana again on the other side, opposite of Guy's Burgers, where you can get burritos. The new ships, Sunshine, Breeze, Think the Magic does, you know. And they all have other smaller restaurants on the promenade, by the way. But the newer ships have Mongolian Wok and Cucina del Capitano, which is a specialty restaurant. Gigi Asian Kitchen, another one, especially Havana Bar. The Breeze has Fat Jimmy Seaside Barbecue. The list goes on and on. And for the most part, it's very good food. There was only one thing that I really did not like, and it was at Cucina del Capitano. I got the braised short ribs from Cucina del Capitano. I did not like them, but the chicken parm is really good there, so I recommend that.
I had a stateroom that was just an inside stateroom that was with my mom, dad, my brother, and I have to say that it was a little bit cramped, but it was kind of spacious. They had 2 beds on the floor that could be combined into a queen bed, and then they had beds on the wall like this, and they folded down 2 twin beds so that my brother and I slept here and here, and then my parents slept here. Starting with beds, they were amazingly comfy. They were better than I thought they would be. I thought they'd be kind of hard, but it was actually really comfortable. Sheets, it came with 3 layers, I think. They were really warm. They kept you so warm. They were really soft. The space depends on the type of room, but the interior room that I had, like I said, it was kind of cramped, but it did have a TV on the wall, a bathroom, beds, like I said, a desk kind of thing that's connected to the wall, and like a little mini couch. So it was good, and there was a ton of storage in it. There was a closet, like a big closet that had hangers in it, and there was a cabinet in that too, and there was cabinets in the desk, and there's cabinets on the walls, and it was amazing. And it was pretty spacious, but it could have been like a little bit bigger. Storage, like I said, there was plenty of space. There were many drawers, many cabinets and stuff, and a huge closet. And interior design in total, the royal colors include blue, so the interior was like creamish walls with like blue shams and cover thingies on beds. But everything looked so nice. And the stateroom attendants, we had Joan. They made a towel animal for you every night. We got a frog, we got a turtle, a monkey. A monkey she actually hung from a hanger and hung it from the top of our stateroom, which is crazy. And she left that there for the whole time. We got doves, things like that. And she made it really cool and really friendly, and it was amazing. She's so cool. Another quick thing is that in the rooms they give you breakfast menus. This is one right here, and it has inside just a bunch of menu items that you can get. And I will give you some advice. We ordered room service the first day because we had to get out early because we were doing a kayaking excursion. 1 order of bacon on this equals 1 slice of bacon. And if you get cereal, you have to order milk with your cereal because they don't bring it for you. So like 1 order of eggs is like 1 egg, and 1 order of bacon is 1 strip of bacon. So if you have a bigger family, I'd get like, you say it was like a family of 4, I'd get like 8 orders of bacon, 8 orders of sausage, just to make sure that you all have enough, and make sure that you do get milk with your coffee or your cereal because they do not bring it for you.
The staterooms vary in size depending on what you choose. Carnival the main choices are inside, which, I mean, are quite small. Ocean view, which I've done before, and balcony. Ocean view and balcony are about the same size. We did a balcony on our most recent cruise. They're about the same size, same storage, everything. Just balcony obviously has the big door and the big window that goes out to the balcony. I love the balconies. I kind of recommend going ocean view though because they're cheaper, and once you go balcony, you're not going back. So yeah, we already booked a balcony on the Carnival Breeze. The beds are quite comfy. The main bed is pretty good. The sleeper sofa and the bunk beds that fold down there, I mean, what would you expect? But, you know, all the beds have three layers. They change the sheets every single day. Like I said, we're a 4-person family, and there's plenty of space for us to be. For 8 days was our longest cruise. We were fine with it. Plenty of storage. Bathrooms are nice. Air toilets, awesome. Carnival has always loved orange in their staterooms, which I've always found kind of strange. But that's another thing. I think they yelled at Joe Farkas and said pick it up a little bit. So they've been bringing in more blues and greens on the newer ships. So the Sunshine was all updated, obviously, being that it was torn down in 2013 and completely redone. So the new stateroom designs are quite nice. Oh, I forgot to mention suites. They have 2 or 3 levels of suites. And the premium Vista balcony is a balcony in the rear of the ship. They cost more, but they're on the curve of the ship, and only on the Conquest and Destiny class ships they have them, and they're not suites. So I recommend those. I've never done them before, but I've seen them, and they're really nice. They have giant balconies. The balconies come with 2 chairs and a table, and there's doors between the balconies. So say like you have a family member in the balcony cabin next to you, you tell your stateroom store and they'll come with the key and open the door between your balconies, so you'll have connected balconies, which is really nice. And I think that's normal for all cruise lines. They keep them very clean. Most ships that have been upgraded, you know, and every couple years they take them in just new carpets, small things. And most recently they've been adding Fun Ship 2.0 when they take them in to do all that. So most recently when they did that, they added flat screen TVs in all of the rooms instead of the big box TVs. So there's very few ships that still have the box TVs. But yeah, that's about it.
So the ship offered a teen-only club. It was called Fuel. I think it was on the top deck of the ship, but it was for ages 12 to 17, so it was only kind of like older people, older kids, more mature kids. And they also had something called Adventure Ocean, and that was like a littler kid spot. I think it was like 11 and lower, and it was always booked, it was always packed. You just walked in and everything was so friendly, and they did games, they did everything like that. In the teen center, they did different activities like every night. A couple things that we did capture the flag across the ship, where we had 2 teams, and each team had 2 decks that they could hide their flag on. And then you had to go back, and then he'd say go, and you go find the other person's flag. And we won one time, and we lost one time because we didn't hide in a very good spot. The scavenger hunts, he gave you a list, and you can't. The kicker with the scavenger hunts is that you couldn't go to guest services to get anything. You had to find it everywhere around the ship, and I think it was in 25 minutes. So you could run around the ship like maniacs for all of these, and no one cared. It was awesome. You had permission to run. They also had a crew member international autograph race, where basically they gave you like a line, and then next to it was like a country or a place or something, and you had to find people from those places and get their autographs, and then each one was worth points, and then whoever had the most points at the end won, and you got like a little prize and stuff. In video competitions, they gave you a list, and you had to take a video of what was on that list. I remember one example was guy in Speedo. You had to take a picture of a guy in Speedo, and that was interesting. We had to take a picture or take a video of us. One person went up to, I think it was the 10th floor with a camera, looked down at it, and everybody else had to be laying down on their backs in the Centrum. That was one video, and that was fun. Everybody was looking at us, and it was weird. They had a teen prom where they played music, and you just talked and played games and stuff. They also had a game called The Mob, and it was like 2 teams, one person from each team would go on this table, and there'd be a dry erase marker in the middle, and then the guy would read a question. You had to grab it as fast as you can and get the best answer that you possibly could. That's what that was, and then whoever got the most points at the end won that. They also had a rock wall that was, I didn't get to go on it because you had to sign like a waiver, get your parents to sign a waiver and stuff, but that was almost on the side of the ship, which I don't know if I could do that. And then they also had bungee jumping on trampolines, like the big ones that you find in the mall. They had those on the end of the ship, so you could just jump super duper duper high, and you could see really far, and it was super cool, and I definitely recommend doing that.
They have 3 kids clubs. Circle C is for 12 to 14 years old. 15 through 18 is Club O2. I forget what the other one's called for below 12. Well, it'll be in text right down here. They have activities all around the ship, scavenger hunts. If you're on a ship with water slides, slide races. On the Sunshine, they have 2 matching slides that go in opposite directions, and we saw them doing that. They had, I don't know, it must have been like 50 kids from the Circle C program, and it was like an elimination. So like 2 would go, whoever won would go into the next race, you know, and then they would pair them up each round until they got down to the final 2. They would race, and then whoever won that would be the winner. It was pretty cool. It was like drivers. They have tons of activities. I've only been there once, and I went to the one on the Carnival S for the below 12, and I didn't really enjoy it. I'm sure I would enjoy the Circle C a lot more, but I didn't have time on my last 2 cruises to do it. They do video games, and like the rooms have video games circling the whole room. Pretty cool.
So now on to places we went. This is the best category to talk about. So the first place we went was Coco Key, and it is Key, it's not K, it's Key. We found that out, but we got there and we did a kayaking excursion, and the guy was so amazing, and we stopped at certain points and he taught us about things about this spot or this part of the island, and that was really cool. And he went stingrays. We went to a big place with stingrays on the kayaks, and they swam right under the kayaks, and a big one that was almost as big as the ship, or almost as big as the ship, as big as the kayak, almost flipped our boat over, which that would not have been fun. One thing that was kind of like about the island is that the water was kind of cold. I stayed in it for about 10 minutes, and I was like, nope, can't do it, too cold. The sand was so pure white. And here's a secret: if you go onto the main beach and you just keep walking, there's another part of the land, another part of the island that's even softer sand, and not a lot of people know about it, and that's why we went there. But it was so beautiful, and the water was so blue you could see to the bottom, like the oceans in like Florida where we are, you can't even see the bottom because the water is so dirty, but there it is crystal clear, and it is so blue. And they had so many things to do on they had glass bottom kayaks so you could see things that were below you. They had I think they had jet skis, and they had a lot of different excursions, but definitely kayak I recommend. One thing that they also had on Coco Key was a straw market, and that's where like people, I guess it's people in that area, sold things that they made, and I got this t-shirt that says Bahamas Coco Key with a little flower in the middle of it, but that's what I got there. And they have like shirts, they have hats, they have coconut carving things, and it was just really cool to look at. And they had a restaurant there, I don't remember what it's called, but it was barbecue, and it was so good. It had a huge water slide that was like a blow-up water slide that you didn't have to pay extra. Massive, like you look like a little ant going down it. That's basically what Coco Key was. Let's go to Nassau. So Nassau, when we got off the ship onto the dock, we got off. The city was actually kind of like, because it was kind of dirty. There was like a lot of people around. There was a lot of cars. There was just a lot of stuff that if I don't bring a little kid to Nassau, like don't go walking around or anything like that, because it's kind of dangerous, and I did not let go of my mom the whole time we were walking around Nassau to go to one of the shops. But there is actually a lot of local cuisine there that they have. I would not bring kids there, but one thing that I would do is we purchased a separate excursion on the ship to Blue Lagoon Island and Dolphin Encounter. It was about 45 minutes away from Nassau, the dock, and you took a little 2-story boat over to it, and it was totally worth it. The water was it was bluer than Coco Key, and it was actually a good temperature, so it wasn't like super duper cold, but it wasn't super hot, so you felt like really refreshed. Had a ton of things to do there, and we went paddle boarding, kayaking, tubing, floating on this like weird mat that floated when you were sitting on it, and they also had like a blow up water park thing that was in the middle of it. It was just blow up like shapes and stuff that you could climb on in a big slide. I'd probably give a 10 out of 10 for Blue Lagoon Island because it was just so beautiful, and they also had dolphins there and sea lions and stingrays, I'm pretty sure, but all the dolphins, we went and watched the dolphins. You can go watch them, you can go watch the sea lions, but they know their names and they just run up to you whenever they see a human or whenever they have food. Obviously the trainers say their name and they go, oh my god, and they freak out and they go run up on the little mountain thingy, and they give them their little fish snacks. But that was really cute. So you could go see the dolphins, you could swim. There were hammocks everywhere. There was hammocks like every 2 feet from another. And they also had like a little kid kind of shallow zone blocked off just for little kids so that they could still have fun, but they didn't have to go like into the deep water or where there wasn't like a lot of people around and stuff. Like a 10 out of 10 for Blue Lagoon Island, but probably like a 7 out of 10 for the city because like I said, it was kind of dirty. I will give you some advice about Nassau. If you do go into the city, I would do not, as much as you feel the urge to, because I made this mistake, do not get Starbucks in Nassau. The sizes are so much smaller. I got a venti because I was like, oh yeah, this sounds good. And it was like between a venti and a grande was it, and it was like $5, and they didn't even make it correctly. They basically gave me milk mixed with ice, and it wasn't really that good. So do not get your Starbucks in Nassau. Riding over on the boat to Blue Lagoon Island, our shipmate was pointing out a ton of houses that were famous people. There was Jay-Z and Beyonce, Christina Aguilera, plays a couple more, and then they also had Eddie Murphy's private key or private island over to the right of the boat. It was super cool to see all these people's houses. It was cool that he actually pointed it out for us. So that's basically it for where I went.
We went to 4 ports on this cruise. I've never been to any of them. First off was Grand Turk, which is a tiny island. It was actually recently voted by whatever magazine, I can't remember, to be the world's top island. It's in the Turks and Caicos. And basically, since it's so small, it's limited to a very small shopping area. Normal things, Ron John, Del Sol, Jimmy Buffett has a huge Margaritaville there, gigantic pool, flow rider, it's everything. And then there's a beautiful beach. By the time we got off the ship, Margaritaville was so full we went to the beach, which was amazing. No rocks in the water, beautiful sand, teal water that, like, I've been to tons of port stops and it's the clearest water I've ever seen. No rocks in the water, like I said, no seaweed, fish everywhere. It's awesome, nice place to go snorkeling. There's like an anchor laying on the ground and stuff. Second was St. Thomas. St. Thomas is a very incorporated port with mountains everywhere. And it's quite run down. It's kind of like Nassau, but we never felt that we were in danger. Like in Nassau, it's kind of, and just recently they've been putting out travel warnings for Nassau saying, be careful, because it's been getting very, very, very dangerous. But we decided to take a taxi down to the downtown area and go shopping, which was nice. And then after that, we went to the St. Thomas famous sky ride. They take you up on a mountain. You can see that. All it is, you can see in my video. There's a big restaurant on top. You can see the port. We watched the sunset, as well as there were 3 ships in port that day. Sunset, while we were up there, we watched the 2 ships that were in front of us pull out and then went back to our ship. In San Juan the next day. San Juan is a working city. It is very strange to have a cruise port in that type of city. It's run down, it's dangerous, be very careful, So it stinks too. Water's brown, smog in the air, normal city. So I decided not to take the camera that I'm filming with now and just take my GoPro, as I said in the video. And we ended up taking a tram down to the ports. There's 2 of them, used to be 1, they used to be connected, but eventually in like the 50s or 60s, I think it was. They tore down the walls so that they could build more houses and stuff. Like I said, be very careful. I recommend not taking the taxi anywhere. Take the tram, open air tram. Go to the forts, are amazing. And it's not a guided tour like it would be in the US. Like at the forts there, you can just go off, you can stand on the walls, whatever. It's very fun. And it's not something you would experience here because of laws with preserving our monuments. See, Old San Juan, I didn't even know about it, but someone commented on my video and said, hey, check out Old San Juan. It's like pretty much the safest place on the island, or it is the safest place on the island, and it's gorgeous, so check that out. Or, of course, you can't be a Carnival-sponsored excursion, but we did not do one of those at all on this cruise. We have on our two previous. St. Maarten is my favorite cruise port to date, other than maybe Isla Roatan in Mahogany Bay. I recommend going to Mahogany Bay. Anyway, St. Maarten is very incorporated, but not really at the same time. It's all mountains, it's a lot of country, but there's like villages as you take the taxi around there. We went to Maho Beach, took a taxi there, and that's the beach that's right by Princess Juliana Airport where the planes come in right over your head. And we were there on a really windy day, so the planes had to come in really high and then dip down when they were right above the runway instead of coming in really low like they would on a day without wind. So yeah, if you watch the video and see them coming in higher than you normally do in videos you see there. But yeah, it was wonderful there. Clear water. You do have to be careful of the current though, at least on that day there was a very strong rip current. But beautiful water, beautiful sand, nice restaurant on the beach. And then we went to the downtown area, which is right near the ship. And that's nice, they have tons of stuff. Plus the creator of yoga lives on the island and he has a museum. My brother really wanted to go there, so we stopped by there and he got an autograph and a picture with him. So yeah, we did that, and then right by the downtown area there's a nice beach with more restaurants, and like it's basically like if you've ever seen the Daytona boardwalk, or like a boardwalk that's right on the beach with restaurants and stuff everywhere. Kind of the same idea. And then you can see the ships from there. We just walked right back to the ship from there. But yeah, St. Maarten, all-time favorite cruise port, as well as Mahogany Bay in Roatan, Honduras, is gorgeous too.
Going on to activities that you can do on the ship, there are a ton of them. The daily cruise compass that the cleaners of the staterooms leave on your bed every day shows you things like activities that are going on, shows that are going on, and hours for restaurants or places that you want to go for that day. And there are definitely activities for all ages. There is a 16 and up only solarium, which is like a private pool area with like a private little restaurant that is a saltwater pool, which I didn't really like that it was a saltwater pool. There's also a gym and a spa that's on board, and a running track on the upper deck for people who, if like you like to run, there's a running track up there on the upper deck, and it's so beautiful just walking around it or running around it. 2 table tennis tables, they have basketball, shuffleboard, things like that. Activities, they include trivia, singing, I know they had a belly flop contest and that was horrific. They also did broadcast that on the TV and it was scary. But anyways, they do that. They also have towel folding presentations where you can learn how your stateroom attendant folds all of your towel animals, and they also have a napkin folding presentation. Those are just to name a couple. In the shops of the Centrum, there is everything from watches to Royal Caribbean merchandise to makeup to skincare to everything you could possibly imagine. They do a lot of sales on like the last day of on the ship. They do t-shirt sales. I got this t-shirt along with the one that I'm wearing, 2 for $20, which is a really good deal. And then they also have like lanyards, or they have postcards. I got one that had the ship name on it. And they do have a mailbox, so you can also send your mail. I don't know how it gets to you, but I guess they figure it out. Maybe a little tugboat like mails it to your post office or something. But they do also have a lot of ships, and they have a really good deals on watches. And because you're not in U.S. territory, it doesn't have a U.S. tax on it. So basically, you're paying no taxes on any of the things that you buy. And they are only open, the shops are only open while you're at sea. They're not open like when you're in port or anything, because they don't want people like smuggle things, I guess. But that's what that happens, and like I said, it is tax-free, and that's an amazing deal. And in Nassau, they have a Diamonds International store, and the diamonds there, since we're not in the U.S. and since they're like more found in that type of area, the diamonds are really, really, really cheap and no tax. So you get a really good deal on diamonds if you're looking for like a diamond ring or a necklace or something like that.
And last but not least, and in fact where you'll be spending most of your time on the ship, I'm sure, is top deck. The older ships in the Carnival fleet, obviously all ships have pools, hot tubs. Most have just a little dinky water slide that normally isn't that fast. Others, newer ones, plus some really old fantasy class ships, they've added it. Spirit class ships, like I said, and the new ones, Dream, Magic, Breeze, and Sunshine, all have huge full water parks. Yeah, the water parks, the Magic, Breeze, and Sunshine have a full rope course. All ships have mini golf. Shuffleboard is essential on a ship as far as I'm concerned. Basketball, soccer, the list goes on and on. All ships have the Serenity deck, which is basically like an area with no kids. It's all adults. There's like hammocks and stuff. Plus, a lot of ships have a adult-only pool. All the fantasy class ships do, all the spirit class. In fact, I take that back, they all do. Every ship in the Carnival fleet has an adult-only pool. Most of them in the back. The only one I can think of that the adult-only pool is towards the front is the Sunshine. When they rebuilt it, they took off the front area that's on most of those ships, most of the Conquest and Destiny class ships, and put on a new top end or front end that's all Serenity. Like from the main pool up, I mean, it's all Serenity, and there's a pool there with a waterfall, and it's wonderful. Adults love it. Yeah, giant checkers they have up there, running track all ships have, all of the bars and restaurants that I mentioned next to the pool, so there you go.
I hope you enjoyed this video, so if you did, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to S&W Teen Travel for more information on trips, more teen fun, and more travel fun. I hope you enjoy your day. Bye!